All right, new formatting, but back to the topic at hand. If there's two things in this world I believe in wholeheartedly is horror and video games. Now, horror in itself is like one of my favorite medias. I really love to consume. If you don't know that, look at my other two videos on obsession. I mean, I'm still obsessed with it. I might do a video on why people need to stop Tyler Bear because he is obviously the villain, but we're not going to talk about that right now. I wanted to talk about the two people that you're seeing on the thumbnail right now, Clark and Johnny Cage. Now, from the surface, you obviously might think to yourself, what the hell do these two characters even have in common? Well, I'm gonna tell you. Now, I've linked in the description that there is a video that I saw that immediately made me realize that whole entire connection that Clark and Johnny Cage have. So when Clark discovers the back rooms, he immediately goes to his therapist and tries to explain the back rooms to her. Now, she obviously looks at him very confused and is trying to figure out what's going on. Now, Clark obviously trying to still prove the fact that the backrooms exist, says something that really stood out to me that made me realize that him and Johnny Cage were the exact same person. He says, and I quote, I'm going to come back here with proof, and then you're going to seriously owe me a apology. Now, I listened to that and I was like, dang, he's really steadfast on his beliefs. But then I also made me realize that Johnny Cage kind of did the exact same thing. Maybe not outright specifically, but he kind of did that in the video game. Now, of course, I'm specifically talking about the MK1 video game that recently came out, like, what, 3 years ago? Where he was like still hung up on the belief that if he does X, Y, and Z, his wife is gonna really regret the fact that his ex-wife would regret the fact of breaking up with him. And I really wanted to add on to that situation because notice how he said ex-wife. He didn't say Hollywood, which is crazy because you'd think that Hollywood would at least be like, oh my gosh, Johnny Cage, we're so sorry. We should have like appreciated you at the time. I thought it was very funny how in the end of this whole entire ordeal, he didn't even learn anything. He was just like, dang, my ex-wife is seriously gonna regret divorcing me. Bro, you literally went on. Oh, and also I wanted to add on to the fact that both the back rooms and of course Johnny Cage going into Outworld kind of has the same similarities. I mean, they're basically one clipping themselves into an alternate reality or an alternate like space, alternate place in between like space and time, which is crazy because like we should be like scientifically trying to understand that. I mean, not just the backrooms. I mean, like if you watch like Ken Parsons' video compilations about the backrooms and how like the different types of monsters have evolved and whatnot, but like the stuff in Outworld needs to be like scientifically understood because like that's like literally insane. But anyways, they all go on like this place of self discovery. But the only thing that's different is that Clark actually should have realized that he was in the wrong. But instead of realizing that he was in the wrong, he's like, no, I like it here. I want to stay here. And I understand why. Because, like, obviously, like, he's ruminating on the moment of the fact that he lost his wife and whatnot, and he's still trying to, like, prove himself. But Johnny Cage, I don't even think technically he did change, but he's still, like, hung up on his ex-wife, which is crazy because I'm like, which is I still can't believe that because I'm like, if anything, he needs to be mad at Hollywood because like imagine you come up with a piece like this that's literally gonna like revolutionize Hollywood as a whole. I mean, sure, like I'm assuming that if it technically takes place in a timeline of parallel to ours, I think they would kind of like want like new interesting stories like this, but no, it's about his ex-wife. And of course, for Clark, it's about his ex-wife and trying to prove something. And I'm like, guys, who cares? Just admit the fact that maybe you were wrong. That maybe you were wrong. And then obviously he knows like some in some part that he has like Clark knows that that he had a part to play. Like I'm not gonna like omit that. But I think the fact that he just doesn't want to change, even when his therapist was like hounding at him, like, dude, you need to like wake up and realize that your wife didn't leave you because of X, Y, and Z. He didn't leave. She didn't want to leave you because of the drinking. She didn't want to leave you because you were like stuck working on an Ottoman Empire. She left you because of your actions, the way how you were acting towards her. Same thing with Johnny Cage. I mean, like, I'm 1,000% sure that sure if he didn't spend all that money on that stuff, that maybe his wife would have like had like second thoughts. But I still get hung over the fact that that's the only thing that he cared about. Like, didn't he learn anything? But of course, like that's like its own other thing. And honestly, that's what kind of why I really liked the older versions of the games because at least in MK9 and MK10 and then MK11, he kind of like evolved as a character. And I know that there's gonna be still room for improvement to like semi change. I don't know, maybe like fact checking on it because I've only like seen people play the games. But that specific line literally just made me realize that they're like the same guy. The only difference is that Johnny Cage like actually like lived to tell the tale of all the stuff and still hung up on his ex-wife. But like Clark still changed, but like well he realized that he needed to change, but he was like, no, I want to stay here. And I don't know. That's just my little rant. But yeah, I don't know. If you guys, I will leave the link to all those videos down below. So well, in the description and also in the comment section, because honestly, I think this is really interesting that needs to be talked about more. Because I made that realization like as soon as I heard that quote, and I was like, and you'll probably even see my comment in the video too as well. And I was like, because like I knew it was like, yeah, these guys are the same. Like you can like even if you like play the video game or like even if you watch the movie and like you seeing like people like if you see the way how he interacts with other people, you'll realize that they're literally like two sides of the same coin. The only difference is that Johnny Cage semi learned to be better, but then again, I would be giving him too much credit. But I don't know. Like it's anyways, bye.